You will never be rich as long as you can be found. Not the kind of rich that matters anyway. Not the kind that gives you true power, true freedom, true control over your own destiny. As long as people know where you are, what you're doing, what you're planning, and what you're thinking, you remain a piece on someone else's board. A predictable element in a game you don't even realize you're playing. And predictability in the world of real power is a death sentence. Machiavelli understood this 5 centuries ago. He watched princes rise and fall. He saw empires built and destroyed, and through it all he noticed a pattern. The ones who survived, the ones who thrived, the ones who accumulated real wealth and lasting power were never the loudest voices in the room. They were never the most visible figures on the stage. They were the ones moving in the margins, operating in the shadows, controlling the narrative without ever appearing to be part of it. They were unfindable, unreadable, and because of that, they were unstoppable. But you've been trained for the exact opposite. From the moment you could speak, you were taught to announce yourself, to raise your hand, to seek recognition, to prove your worth through visibility, show your work, share your progress, post your journey. Document your hustle, make yourself known. This is what they told you would lead to success, and you believed it because everyone around you was doing the same thing. But here's what they never told you. In a world where everyone is visible, the invisible man owns everything. Think about it. Every time you share your plans, you give someone the opportunity to interfere. Every time you announce your goals, you invite criticism, doubt, and sabotage. Every time you make yourself easy to find, you make yourself easy to manipulate, easy to distract, easy to derail. You become a target before you even become a threat. And the people around you, the ones smiling and nodding and wishing you well, they're not cheering for you. They're studying you. They're measuring themselves against you. They're calculating whether your success makes them look like a failure. This is human nature. Machiavelli didn't invent it. He simply had the courage to describe it honestly. People do not want you to fail out of pure malice. They want you to fail because your success forces them to confront their own stagnation. Your rise reminds them of their inertia, and rather than use that as motivation, most people will choose to slow you down instead. They'll plant seeds of doubt. They'll ask questions designed to make you second-guess yourself. They'll offer advice that sounds helpful but subtly steers you off course. And they'll do all of this while maintaining plausible deniability, while appearing supportive, while never revealing their true intent. You think you're having a friendly conversation. They think they're gathering intelligence. You think you're sharing your excitement. They think you're exposing your vulnerabilities. This is the game. And if you don't know you're playing it, you've already lost. Wealth, real wealth, doesn't start with money. It starts with control. Control over information, control over perception, control over access. The moment you lose control of who knows what about you, you lose control of your ability to move freely in the world. You become reactive instead of proactive. You start making decisions based on what others might think, what they might say, what they might do. You become a prisoner of your own visibility. Machiavelli would tell you that a wise prince never reveals his hand until the game is already won. He never announces his strategy. He never telegraphs his next move. He operates in such a way that by the time his enemies realize what he's done, it's too late to counter it. This isn't cruelty. This is survival. This is intelligence. This is the difference between those who accumulate power and those who remain powerless. Now look at your own life. How much of it is public knowledge? How many people know your routines, your habits, your goals, your fears, your plans? How accessible are you? How easy is it for someone to reach you, to demand your time, to pull you into their drama, to distract you from what actually matters? If the answer is very easy, then you need to understand something. You are not in control, you are being controlled. And as long as that remains true, wealth, the kind that actually changes your life, will remain out of reach. The rich, the truly powerful, they don't live like you. They don't answer every call. They don't respond to every message. They don't explain themselves to people who haven't earned an explanation. They don't make themselves available to anyone who wants a piece of their attention. They guard their time, their energy, and their information like the precious resources they are. Because they understand that in a world full of people trying to take from you, the first line of defense is making yourself hard to find. This doesn't mean you become a hermit. It doesn't mean you cut off everyone and live in isolation. It means you become selective, ruthlessly selective. You stop giving access to people who don't deserve it. You stop sharing your plans with people who have no ability to help you execute them. You stop seeking validation from people whose opinions have no bearing on your success. You start treating your presence, your attention, your thoughts as valuable commodities that must be earned, not freely given. Machiavelli wrote that men judge by appearances and outcomes, not by intentions. What this means is that people will create a story about you based on whatever information they have. If you give them too much information, they'll create a story that limits you. They'll box you in. They'll decide what you're capable of based on what they've seen, and once that story is set in their minds, it becomes incredibly difficult to change. But if you give them almost nothing, if you remain a mystery, they have no choice but to respect the unknown. And respect born from uncertainty is far more powerful than respect born from familiarity. You've probably noticed this already. The people you know everything about, you don't fear them. You don't respect them in the way you respect someone whose depth you can't quite measure. Familiarity doesn't breed contempt, but it does breed comfort. And when people are comfortable around you, they feel entitled to you. They feel like they can ask anything, say anything, expect anything. You become a resource they can tap into whenever they need something. And every time you allow that, you drain yourself of the energy you need to build something real. The powerful understand this instinctively. They create distance, not out of arrogance but out of necessity. They know that the moment they become too accessible, they lose leverage, they lose mystique. They lose the psychological edge that comes from being slightly out of reach. People want what they can't easily have. This applies to relationships, to business, to influence, to everything. Scarcity creates value. Abundance creates indifference. So if you want to become wealthy, truly wealthy, you need to make yourself scarce. Not physically necessarily, but informationally, emotionally, strategically. You need to become someone whose next move is unpredictable. Someone whose thoughts are private. Someone whose plans are unknown until they're already in motion. You need to stop being an open book and start being a locked vault. Now, this is going to feel uncomfortable at first. You're going to feel like you're being cold. You're going to feel like you're pushing people away. You're going to feel guilty for not responding immediately, for not explaining yourself, for not being as available as you used to be. But that discomfort is a sign that you're doing it right, because what you're actually doing is reclaiming your power. You're taking back control over your life. You're refusing to let other people's expectations dictate your behavior. Machiavelli would say that it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But in the modern world, fear isn't about being aggressive or intimidating. It's about being unknowable. It's about being someone people can't quite figure out, someone they're not sure how to approach, someone they respect because they sense there's more beneath the surface than they can see. That kind of fear, that kind of respect is what opens doors. It's what creates opportunities. It's what makes people want to work with you, invest in you, align themselves with you. But none of that happens if you're too easy to read. If people think they have you figured out, they'll treat you accordingly. They'll put you in a box, they'll assign you a role. And once you're in that role, it's almost impossible to break out of it. This is why many people stay stuck, not because they lack talent or ambition, but because they've made themselves too knowable. They've shown all their cards. They've given everyone around them a complete map of who they are and what they're capable of. And once that map exists, people stop seeing you as capable of anything beyond what's on it. You need to destroy that map. You need to become illegible. You need to start moving in ways that don't make sense to people who think they know you. You need to take actions that contradict their expectations. You need to become a moving target, someone who's always slightly ahead of where people think you are. This is how you create leverage. This is how you build power. This is how you become dangerous. And make no mistake, you need to be dangerous. Not violent, not cruel, but dangerous in the sense that people understand there are consequences to underestimating you, to disrespecting you, to trying to manipulate you. Dangerous in the sense that you're not someone who can be easily controlled or predicted. Dangerous in the sense that crossing you is a risk people aren't willing to take because they don't know what you're capable of. Right now, you're probably not dangerous. You're probably nice, agreeable, accommodating. You probably go out of your way to make other people comfortable. You probably avoid conflict. You probably explain yourself too much, apologize too often, and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it. And all of that niceness is costing you everything. Because in the real world, in the world where wealth and power are actually distributed, niceness is not rewarded. Niceness is exploited. People see your willingness to accommodate and they take advantage of it. They see your openness and they use it to extract information. They see your availability and they drain your time. And you let them because you've been conditioned to believe that being a good person means being accessible, transparent, and giving. But Machiavelli would tell you that being good and being effective are not the same thing. A prince who tries to be good in all circumstances will be destroyed by those who are not good. This doesn't mean you should become evil. It means you should become strategic. It means you should stop operating under the assumption that everyone has good intentions. It means you should start protecting yourself, your energy, your information, your plans, with the same intensity that you'd protect your money. Because here's the truth. People will steal your ideas faster than they'll steal your wallet. They'll drain your energy more efficiently than they'll drain your bank account. They'll sabotage your progress more subtly than they'll sabotage your property. And they'll do it all while smiling at you, while pretending to support you, while maintaining the appearance of friendship. This is the game. And if you're not playing it consciously, you're being played. So what do? You start by auditing your life. You look at who has access to you and you ask yourself, do they deserve it? You look at what information you've shared and you ask yourself, was that strategic? You look at how you spend your time and you ask yourself, is this moving me toward wealth or away from it? And then you start cutting. You cut conversations that go nowhere. You cut relationships that drain you. You cut habits that expose you. You cut everything that makes you easy to find, easy to read, easy to manipulate. This is going to upset people. People who are used to having access to you will not appreciate losing it. They'll accuse you of changing. They'll say you've become distant, cold, different, and they'll be right. You have changed. You've become someone who values their own power more than other people's comfort. And that's exactly what you need to become if you ever want to be wealthy. Machiavelli understood that the masses will always resent those who rise above them. They'll always find reasons to criticize, to doubt, to undermine. And if you spend your energy trying to win their approval, you'll never have enough left to actually build anything. So you stop trying to win approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your decisions. You simply move. And you move in silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you have. It creates space. It creates mystery. It forces other people to fill in the blanks, and when they do, they almost always fill them in your favor. Because people project onto silence whatever they fear or respect most. If you're silent and focused, they'll assume you're working on something significant. If you're silent and distant, they'll assume you're too important to be bothered. If you're silent and deliberate, they'll assume you're calculating something they can't see. And all of that assumption works in your favor. It creates a psychological advantage. It makes people approach you differently. It makes them think twice before wasting your time. It makes them respect boundaries they didn't even know existed. And that respect, that hesitation, that uncertainty is what gives you room to operate. It's what gives you the freedom to move without interference, to build without interruption, to execute without explanation. But you can't have that freedom if you're constantly broadcasting your life. If you're posting every thought, sharing every plan, documenting every step, you're not building power. You're building a performance. And performances are for entertainers, not for people who want to accumulate real wealth. Entertainers need an audience. Builders need privacy. Entertainers crave applause. Builders crave results. Which one are you? If you're honest with yourself, you're probably more entertainer than builder right now. You're probably more concerned with how things look than with what they actually produce. You're probably more focused on getting likes, comments, validation, than on doing the deep, unglamorous work that actually creates wealth. And that's fine, most people are, but most people are also broke. Most people are also powerless. Most people are also stuck in lives they don't want, working jobs they hate, surrounded by people they can't stand. If you want something different, you have to become someone different. And becoming someone different starts with becoming unfindable. It starts with disappearing from the noise. It starts with refusing to participate in the constant performance of modern life. It starts with understanding that every minute you spend trying to be seen is a minute you're not spending becoming powerful. Machiavelli wrote extensively about the concept of virtue, which is often mistranslated as virtue. But virtue doesn't mean being morally good. It means having the qualities necessary to achieve your goals regardless of what those goals are. It means being adaptable, strategic, ruthless when necessary, and above all, effective. A person with virtue doesn't ask whether something is fair or nice or comfortable. They ask whether it works. And if it works, they do it. Right now, being visible doesn't work. Being accessible doesn't work. Being transparent doesn't work. These things might make you feel good. They might make you feel connected or validated or important, but they don't make you wealthy. They don't make you powerful. They don't make you free. In fact, they do the opposite. They trap you in a cycle of seeking external approval, of performing for an audience that will never be satisfied, of giving away pieces of yourself until there's nothing left. You need to break that cycle. And the only way to break it is to remove yourself from it entirely. You need to go dark, not forever, not permanently, but long enough to build something real, long enough to develop skills that can't be taken from you, long enough to accumulate resources that can't be drained, long enough to become someone who doesn't need to be seen to know they matter. This is the path of the powerful. It's not glamorous. It's not celebrated. It's not even visible to most people, but it works. And in the end, that's all that matters. Results, outcomes, the undeniable reality of what you've built, not the story you told about building it, not the performance you gave while building it, the thing itself, the wealth itself, the power itself. And here's what happens when you finally emerge from that period of invisibility. When you finally step back into the light with something real to show, people won't know what hit them. They'll be confused. They'll wonder how you did it. They'll ask where you've been. They'll want to know your secret, and you won't tell them. Because by then, you'll understand that the secret was never a technique or a hack or a shortcut. The secret was simply refusing to be found until you were ready to be seen. Machiavelli would approve. He spent years in exile, invisible, forgotten by the very people he once advised. And during that time, he wrote the texts that would influence leaders for centuries. He didn't waste his invisibility complaining about it. He used it. He turned it into an advantage. He became more powerful in obscurity than he ever was in the spotlight. And when his ideas finally emerged, they changed the world. You have the same opportunity. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to step back, to go quiet, to remove yourself from the constant demand for visibility. You can choose to protect your energy, your ideas, your plans from people who don't deserve access to them. You can choose to become strategically invisible, and in that invisibility, you can build something that no one can take from you. But you have to choose it. No one is going to give you permission. No one is going to applaud you for it. In fact, most people will criticize you for it. They'll say you're being secretive. They'll say you're being antisocial. They'll say you're being selfish. Let them say it. Let them think whatever they want, because while they're talking, you'll be building. And when you're done building, their opinions won't matter anymore. This is the reality of power. It's not democratic. It's not fair. It's not based on who's nicest or most likable or most visible. It's based on who's most effective. And effectiveness requires focus. It requires discipline. It requires the ability to ignore distractions and resist the temptation to perform for an audience that doesn't matter. You've been performing for too long. You've been giving too much. You've been too available, too open, too easy to find. And it's cost you time, it's cost you energy, it's cost you opportunities, it's cost you wealth, but it doesn't have to cost you anymore. Starting today, you can change the rules. You can become unfindable. You can become unreadable. You can become the person who operates in the shadows while everyone else fights for the spotlight. And here's what you'll discover when you do. The shadows aren't scary. They're liberating. Because in the shadows, no one is watching, no one is judging, no one is comparing. You're free to experiment, to fail, to learn, to grow without the weight of other people's expectations. You're free to become whoever you need to become without having to explain it to anyone. Machiavelli knew this. Every great strategist in history has known this. The real work happens in private. The real transformation happens in silence. The real power is built when no one is looking. And by the time they start looking, it's too late. You've already won. So stop making it easy for them. Stop giving them access. Stop showing them your cards. Stop being so findable. Disappear into your work. Disappear into your growth. Disappear into your ambition. And let your results be the only thing that announces your presence. Because you will never be rich as long as you can be found, not in the way. You're allowing yourself to be found now. Not with your plans exposed and your energy scattered and your attention divided among 100 people who don't matter. Wealth requires consolidation. It requires focus. It requires the ability to say no to everything that doesn't serve your ultimate goal. And your ultimate goal isn't to be liked, it isn't to be understood, it isn't to be visible. Your ultimate goal is to be free, free from financial stress, free from other people's control, free from the limitations that keep most people trapped in mediocrity. And that freedom is only possible when you stop being so easy to find. Machiavelli would tell you that fortune favors the bold, but only the bold who are also strategic. Boldness without strategy is recklessness. It gets you noticed, but it doesn't get you power. Strategy without boldness is cowardice. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you small. You need both. You need the boldness to pursue what you want and the strategy to do it in a way that protects you from those who would stop you. And the first strategic move is always the same. Become hard to find, become hard to read, become hard to predict, become someone whose depth cannot be measured by casual observation. Become someone who reveals nothing until the moment of victory. Become someone who understands that in a world full of people trying to control you, the ultimate power is controlling what they know. This is not about being dishonest. It's about being private. It's about understanding that you owe no one an explanation for your choices, your methods, your timeline. You owe them results if they've earned the right to see them, but you owe them nothing else. And the sooner you internalize that, the sooner you'll start moving like someone who's actually going somewhere. Right now, you're probably moving like someone who needs permission, someone who needs validation, someone who needs to check in with others before making a decision. And that's exactly why you're not where you want to be. Because people who need permission never get very far. People who need validation never build anything significant. People who need constant feedback never develop the internal compass required to navigate toward real wealth. You need to develop that compass. And you develop it by spending time alone with your thoughts, your goals, your plans. By making decisions without consulting people who have no stake in your success. By trusting yourself enough to move forward even when no one else understands why. By becoming comfortable with being misunderstood, because being understood by everyone means you're not doing anything interesting. Machiavelli was misunderstood for centuries. People called his work evil, cynical, amoral. But those who actually read it, who actually understood it, recognized it for what it was. A manual for survival in a world that doesn't reward naivety. A guide for those who want to shape their own destiny rather than be shaped by others. A blueprint for power that works regardless of whether people approve of it. You don't need approval, you need results. And results come from action, not explanation. From execution, not announcement. From relentless forward movement in silence while everyone else is busy talking about what they're going to do. So here's what you do next. You close this chapter of your life where you were too visible, too accessible, too giving. You step back, you reassess. You identify who and what has been draining you, and you cut it off. Not with drama, not with explanation, just with quiet, firm boundaries. You stop responding to things that don't deserve your response. You stop attending things that don't serve your growth. You stop engaging with people who don't add value to your life. And then you work. You work in private. You work in silence. You work without updates, without progress reports, without the need to show everyone how hard you're grinding. You just grind, day after day, week after week, month after month. Building something real while everyone else is building a social media presence. And when you finally emerge, when you finally have something undeniable to show, you won't need to announce it. It will announce itself. People will notice. They'll ask questions. They'll want to know how you did it, and you'll smile. You'll be polite, but you won't tell them. Because by then, you'll understand what Machiavelli understood 500 years ago. The ones who win are the ones who can't be found until it's too late to stop them. The ones who operate in shadows until they're ready to step into the light. The ones who build empires in silence and reveal them only when the foundation is unshakable. Be one of those, starting now. Disappear from the noise, become unfindable, and let your wealth speak for itself when the time comes.